Welcome back to my channel Math with Amina. Let's just continue solving our next question of the exercise. Question number 7 of the exercise has different parts, and these are the expressions that are having powers and roots. So the very first one is 25 under root of 25 whole square. So how do we solve it? We do know that square is inverse of the square root, so these two cancel each other. When we cancel these two, we are left with 25. So the final answer is 25. The B part is the same. Square root of 49 is whole squared. So the whole square, as we mentioned earlier, the square is the inverse of the root, so these two cancel each other and we are left with 49. Then we are having the cube root. So cube root of 64, that is wholly cubed, means with the power of 3. So again, since it's a cubed root and it is the power is all 3, so these two can cancel each other, as these are the inverse of one another, and we are left with 64. The fourth part of the question is the same. Cube root of 32 is wholly cubed, or it is whole raised to the power of 3. So whole cubed, again this power of 3 is cancelled with the cube root and we are left with 32. The fifth part is a little bit different. In here we are having square root of 9 plus square root of 16. The square root of 9, we can also write it as square of 3 under the root, and the square root of 16, we can this 16 inside the root, we can also write it as square of 4 under the root. So in here this square can get cancelled with the root, and for 3 and 4 both, the squares get cancelled with the root and we are left with 3 plus 4. So 3 plus 4 is equal to 7, so 7 is our final answer. Sixth part is under the root we are having 9 plus 16. So 9 plus 16 is equal to 25. So square root of 25, we can write this 25 as the square of 5. So when we write it as square of 5 square, the square gets cancelled with the root and we are left with 5. So the final answer is 5. Seventh part is square root of 36 plus square root of 64. We can write the square root of 36 in here, 36 under the root, we can write it as 6 square under the root, and 64 it can be written as the 8 square under the root. Again, the squares get cancelled with the root and we are left with 6 plus 8. So 6 plus 8 is equal to 14, and 14 is our final answer. Next part, eighth part, is under the root we are having 100 minus 36. So when we subtract 36 from 100, we are left with 64. So we have under root of 64, or square root and 64 under the root, under the square root. So we can also write the 64 as a square of 8 under the root. When we write it in this manner, then the square gets cancelled with the root and we are left with 8, 8 being our final answer. Next part, we are having 36 plus 64 under the root, which is equal to 100 under the root. We can write 100 as a square of 10. So 10 square is equal to 100. So this 10 square, we have written it under the root. The square gets cancelled with the root. We are left with 10, and 10 is our answer. Then we are having 100 under the root minus 36 under the root. So we will be operating each root separately in here, as you can see. So 100 under the root that we have, we can write 100 as the square of 10 under the root, and 36 we can also write it as the square of 6 under the root. In between we are having the subtraction sign, So once they are written in the square form, the square gets cancelled with the root and we are left with 10 minus 6. So 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. Next part is square root of 25 multiplied by square root of 4. So 25 under the root, we can also write it as a square of 5. So it would be 5 square under the root multiplied by 2. We can write 4, we can write it as a square of 2. So 2 square under the root. The squares will get cancelled with the root and we are left with 5 multiplied by 2. So 5 multiplied by 2 is equal to 10. So the final answer is 10. Since this question has so many parts, the L part, I would say, it is 25 multiplied by 4 under the root. So when we multiply 25 with 4, we get 100. So 100 under the root, we can also express it as square of 2. So square of 10. So 10 square, we express it, and then the square gets cancelled with the root. We are left with 10. So 10 is our final answer. Then next part is 9 multiplied by 4. 9 multiplied by 4 under the root. When we multiply these two terms, we get 36. So 36 under the root. We can write this 36 also as 6 square. When 6 is being squared, we get 36. Or when 6 is multiplied with itself, we get 36. So 6 square under the root and 2 are inverse of one another, so they cancel each other and we have our final answer 6. Then next part is square root of 9 multiplied by square root of 4. So we can also write 9 as the square of 3. We can write 4 as square of 2. Both of them are under the root, and in between we are having the same multiplication sign as we had in the question. The squares get cancelled with the root and we are left with 3 multiplied by 2. So 3 multiplied by 2, we know it's equal to 6, which is our answer. Then we are having the second last part of the question. Under the root, we are having a fraction, which is 36 by 4. So the denominator and numerator, both of them we can, if we can see 36, if we take the square of this, we can write 36 as square of 6 and 4 as square of 2. So 6 over 2 is wholly squared. This fraction is this whole fraction is a square, or it's squared, and then the square gets cancelled with the root. We are left with 6 over 2. If we further simplify it, 2 multiplied by 1 is equal to 2 and 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6. So the final answer we are having 3. The last part of the question, we are having square root of 36, and then the denominator 4, it is not under the root. So what we do is that we take this, we write 36 as the as 6 square and not the denominator, because it's not under the root. So in here this 36 written as 6 square, the square gets cancelled with the root and we are left with 6 over 4. So 6 by 4, if we further simplify it, 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to 4 and 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6. Our final answer is 3 divided by 2, or 3 over 2. That's all for this question. I hope you have the answer got cleared for you. Please don't forget to subscribe the channel so as not to miss the other parts of the exercise, the next question of the exercise. That's all for now. Happy learning!